Kerrie from Facts and Figures, thank you for joining us in the Channel Vision studios today.
Thank you for having me.
Firstly, can you explain to our viewers exactly what Facts and Figures does as a company?
Facts and Figures is a bookkeeping business. We mainly concentrate on small business, so small to medium enterprises. We've got a range of clients that start from sole traders right through to corporate companies. So we look after a number of clients in the Canberra area and also Sydney, and we've got clients in Brisbane. So we've got clients all over Australia. So we've got quite a broad range of people that we look after.
So how did you go from having an idea pre-1994 to running what seems to be a very successful business today?
Well, I actually started my business 94, 95. We'd come back from Scotland because we were living in Scotland for a year. And when we came back from Scotland, my husband had an earth moving business, so I'd always done bookwork for my husband. And we had no work through the golf course building. We'd been in St Andrews building golf courses. And so the work dried up, Japanese money dried up in Australia, so there was very little golf course work at that time. And I thought, well, what can I do from home? And because I'd always done the bookwork for my husband, what I did was I decided to start some bookkeeping, and that was what was familiar to me. So I actually didn't have a computer at that stage. So what I did was I wrote to every earth mover in the yellow pages by hand to see if I could get some work. So that was how my business started. And through that, I got one earth moving contractor called Stokes Contractors, who was my first client. So what I did was I worked on my own for quite a number of years and then realised that there was such a growth in this industry. And then GST popped along on the scene. So when GST came on board, it was one of those growth phases where you thought you can either grab this and run with it, or I can just stay working by myself. So we decided that it would be a good time to just grab it and run. And that's when our business really exploded. So we went from 3 clients to now we've got over 85 clients.
What awards have you and the business won?
Over the last few years, we've been lucky enough to win a lot of awards. I won the Chamber of Women in Business, Businesswoman of the Year. I was the inaugural winner of that, which was absolutely mind-blowing. When I actually won that award, I was sitting next to one of the girls who was in the committee, and there was the person that came runner-up. She came on board, and I was saying to the girl next to me, I said, "This woman's amazing. I wonder who won that." And I was just sitting there and they announced my name and I thought, oh my goodness, it was me. And I couldn't believe it. I thought that was just the most amazing thing. And I was so dumbfounded, I could hardly say anything. They asked me to give a speech and I didn't know what to say because I hadn't prepared anything. I was so nervous. I was just completely blown away by the whole thing. And then I joined Toastmasters because I thought I was never going to get caught like that again. After that, what happened was we entered the Telstra Business Awards. We were actually nominated by one of our customers and we were lucky enough to be finalists in the ACT. So we were finalists in the Business Awards and in the Telstra Business Women's Awards. So that was a real learning curve and met some wonderful women in the Canberra region who have really inspired me to grow my business and to help me. So that's been just such a great learning curve for myself and great for my staff as well, because when we went to the Telstra Business Awards, we got a limousine and we got all the staff together and they had a really good time, so it was really good for building the company.
In your experience, what are some of the challenges of running a business?
I'd say some of the major challenges would be helping people to grow their own business because our growth comes from within. What happens is people get a bookkeeper because they're overworked and they're stressed. They can't handle the day-to-day stuff in their business. And then as that pressure's taken off them, what happens is we help them grow the business from within. So their business grows, which in effect creates more work for us. So that was something that I really wasn't expecting. I thought that we'd just grow our customer base. But our customer base grew from within, which really was unexpected. So I had to face the challenges of getting more people, getting more staff, and training people. And one of the biggest challenges, I think, for any business, whether it's a bookkeeping business, whether it's a retail business, any sort of business, is getting the right people around you. And you have to have a great team, and I'm lucky enough to have a wonderful team.
Now, you touched on this, but being named as the ACT Businesswoman of the Year must have been a huge achievement. How did the award help you and the business?
I think we got a lot of recognition. There was some newspaper recognition, some radio work and that sort of thing, which did help increase the profile of the business, particularly in Canberra. It gave us some integrity within our business so that people knew that we weren't just another bookkeeping firm with just one person going from business to business, that we actually were a company that we were interested in growing people, and we're also interested in growing our business as well. So it really improved the focus of our business. It also made me focus on the business a lot more, and I think it made people realise that we were to be taken seriously.
You're obviously an example of the growing number of women in business. How do you maintain a work-life balance?
It can be difficult. You'd be lying if you said it wasn't a bit of a juggle, and things that do go by the wayside occasionally. My children would probably say to you that I work too much. My husband would definitely say to you that I work too much. But because we're basically a home-based business, I can work a lot of hours and still not impact on the family. So I always seem to be there for my children as well, because my children are quite involved in elite sports. So they're very focused on their sports, which means that I want to be there for them. So juggling work and family can be difficult, but then that's part of the basis of my company as well, is that I really like my employees to be able to juggle their work with their families as well, because I think your family is the number one thing in your life. It's the constant that's always there. So, and I love my family dearly, so I think that they should be my first focus as much as I love my business, but I also believe that your employees should have that as well. So if it's good enough for me, it's good enough for them. So we encourage the girls that work for us, and we have guys that work for us as well, that they can go to family dues, to school assemblies. If they've got something that involves their children, then they should be there for it. So then we have those flexible hours that people can work from home if they need to, if their kids are sick. I can work from home. Because I work from home, our office is separate, so I'll go upstairs and work from home if one of the children is sick. So it can be a bit of a juggle, but it works really well if you're focused and you love what you do.
Now, you have been quoted as saying that let me see if I get this right, that it is important to have both men and women in a business. Why do you feel this is?
We initially, being bookkeepers, the majority of bookkeepers, particularly in Australia, the demographics are that they are mainly women. And I think having guys on the team give us that rounded aspect that we can understand how business owners work, whether they're male or female. And they also keep us grounded, because we tend to get a bit too involved with things, and we tend to mother our clients rather than... and the guys bring us back to reality and give us that more business focus that sometimes women can overlook, because we can be a little softer than the guys.
Do you think the complexity of bookkeeping makes people hesitant somewhat to start their own business?
I think GST has changed that considerably. It has got a lot more complicated, and recently there is the new BAS agent legislation, which means that the industry's taken on a whole new look. It's a bit like the mortgage broking industry was a few years ago, where they regulated the industry. That's now happening with bookkeepers, which means that bookkeepers now have to have a certain number of hours, they have to have a certain amount of education, and a minimum of a Cert 4 in bookkeeping. So the industry has significantly changed, and the industry will grow in future years. But what we're hoping is that that's going to increase the integrity of the business, and we hope that people will be welcomed into the industry, because there's so much work out there, and people who've been in this industry for a while should be looking at mentoring younger women or younger guys that want to come into the bookkeeping industry and grow the business and make it so that we are there to help business owners. Because I think there's a lot of people out there that are doing harm to businesses, not intentionally, but because they, through not enough knowledge, they don't have enough, just trying to work out, they don't have enough exposure to businesses. And it's not what you know, it's what you don't know that gets you into trouble. So I think this regulation is going to help people increase their knowledge, particularly bookkeepers, which means that business owners can trust the advice that they're getting. And also accountants can rely more on the integrity of the data that they're getting.
Now, with your experience and running the business successfully, what advice do you have for women or young women looking at starting up a business of their own?
I'd say get your facts right. Go and work for somebody in the industry that you've chosen to work in and love what you do. Because if you don't love what you do, you're not going to be there, you're not going to have the heart in it. When I started my business, I really didn't expect to make a profit. And I think if you're good at what you do, the profit will follow.
What's the best way that people can contact you or find out more information about facts and figures?
We've got a website where all our contact numbers are there, or you can contact us on 02 6283 5666, which is our office number. But have a look at the website, see what you think of the website, and hopefully we can help you.
Kerrie, it's been great having you in the studio. Thank you for making the time and all the best for the business.
Thanks very much.